The United States is now experiencing a little bit of a problem when it comes to scaling because we are running out of power. That is the big issue, and this is an issue we've been facing for several years. But today I want to discuss why we're running out of power, why we are consuming so much more today than we were 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and even 10 years ago. So make sure you stick around for this entire video because what I'm about to tell you is actually pretty scary because officials say the United States may run out of power very soon. So I'll break that down in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So the United States is experiencing something that we've never experienced in our entire history because we are seeing things change. What we are seeing change right now is going to EV. Electric vehicles are requiring much more power today than they did 5 years ago, even 10 years ago. We're also seeing more mining centers. We're seeing more data centers. We're seeing more people travel further to go to work, which again, it costs us more money, but at the same time, it is actually hurting us because it causes us to use more power. I want to show you this. This is an article from the Washington Post just the other day. It says, amid explosive demand, America is running out of power. Now, I want to get to some of these. I want to get to some of their points and explain this because according to this article, they are saying that in just Georgia, new power usage could increase by 17 times very soon. That is scary. But just look at this, okay? It says a major factor behind the skyrocketing demand is the rapid innovation of artificial intelligence, which is driving the construction of large warehouses of computing infrastructure that require exponentially more power than traditional data centers. I've told you guys this before. Artificial intelligence is going to take over. We are not going to see this, all these things happen in the matter of weeks or months. It's going to take years, but just what we've seen from AI over the past 6 months, that right there, life-changing. I actually have a friend that lost his job because of artificial intelligence. Okay, I have another friend and somebody who used to work with me. He actually lost his job as well. Not directly because of artificial intelligence, but because his company realized they could use and outsource some of these tasks. And now his job seems, somewhat useless, pointless. There's no reason to keep him on. And he understood this and he knew this. But again, it was time for him to go. Let's keep reading this article. It says AI is also part of a huge scale-up of cloud computing. Tech firms like Amazon, Apple, Google, Meta, and Microsoft are scouring the nation for sites for new data centers, and many lesser-known firms are also on the hunt. It says the proliferation of crypto mining, in which currencies like Bitcoin are transacted and minted, is also driving data center growth. It is all putting new pressures on an overtaxed grid. Now, I have an interesting story. A friend of mine who does mining, he does this over on the East Coast. Their power is a little more expensive than it is here where I live, but he was saying that his energy bill, is normally right about $70 to $80 a month. It wasn't that extravagant, but he decided he was gonna create a mining little warehouse or it's more like a shed, but he calls it a warehouse. Okay, he has this mining shed. I don't know how many rigs he has, but it went from under $100 per month to now he is spending over $1,200 per month just running his mining operation. Yeah, that's how much more energy he's using. So I don't know how much more or how many rigs he's actually running, but it has to be substantial because $1,200, that's almost $1,100 more every single month. I want to show you this as well. It says the nation's 2,700 data centers sapped more than 4% of the country's total electricity in 2022, according to the International Energy Agency. Its projections show that by 2026, so in just 2 years, they will consume 6%. That is, again, it's somewhat scary that just data centers alone taking up 4% of all our electricity. These are just data centers. These aren't homes. Okay, this is not a place where people live. Okay, we're not talking about how much electric vehicles use either. And that's a big one. The good news though, there's not as many people buying electric vehicles today as they were last year or 2 years ago. Let me show you this article from Forbes. It says EV sales slow as buyers want 20-minute charging and 350-mile range. Now, here's what I can tell you. I've talked to a lot of people, and one of the things that they're concerned with when it comes to electric vehicles is it takes too long to charge. They drive to one charging station and it's just booked. It's packed, right? There's no open chargers. And then in some cases, you see that there's a big old truck, a diesel truck sitting in there. It's not an electric vehicle, but yet it's sitting right in front of the charger, can't be used. But now that person that was driving that Tesla or that other electric vehicle has to go to another charging station. Okay, use more of their miles to get to the next charging station so that hopefully they can charge there. It's turning into an issue. As opposed to people that have a gas car where they go to an intersection and there might be 2 to 4 different gas stations on one intersection because that's how many people use gas. But again, this is all costing us more money because as more people are going EV, and this is exactly what the Biden administration wants, they want pretty much all new cars by 2035 to be electric vehicles. All new cars will be electric by 2035 if the Biden administration has their way. Now, I don't know if this is feasible, but based off of what we're hearing, this is not something the United States is actually equipped for. But if this is something that is going to happen, well, get ready because this might cause us to run out of electricity. Now, look at this. It says Biden's $7.5 billion investment in EV charging has only produced 7 stations in 2 years. 7 stations, but yet it costs us $7.5 billion. Here's the concern, and this is why I bring this to your attention, because right now, just the current administration, okay? Let's not worry about Republican, Democrat. Let's not worry about that right now. But the current administration wants to go and be a little more conservative, right? They want to try to limit climate change, and they want to go EV. The problem is EV, okay, and any type of electricity, we still have to produce it, okay? Electricity just doesn't come from nothing. And so that right there, having electricity, the biggest issue is that we might not have enough, but yet they are trying to push everybody to get an electric car. If everybody got an electric car, the grid would actually shut down. We would see rolling blackouts like we did in California when they were experiencing severe heat. There was actually rolling blackouts in part of California. You know why? Well, everybody had on their air conditioners. People were charging their cars. Some people were sitting in their cars just to have the air conditioner running. That's how hot it was. Same thing happened in Texas. Remember when Texas, it was too cold and people were trying to run their heat? Yeah, that was a big issue. They had rolling blackouts. And yet, Texas was frozen. I had a friend that in his building, you could see that the pipes burst and there was water pouring down on top of his car. Or his friend's car, or neighbor's car, somebody's car. That happens. But here, I just want to warn you, this is coming. So right now that we are seeing there's an increased demand for pushing electric vehicles, the problem is the United States may not be ready. But I want to leave you with this one last thing. If there's ever somebody that's pushing you to go and do something or buy something, there's usually an agenda behind it. There's something that they get out of it. This might be one of those cases. I don't want to sway you one way or the other, but just understand, if there's ever a time where somebody says, hey, you need to go and buy this car, you need to buy this oven, this washer and dryer, there may be something for them that you may not be seeing. So I'll just leave you with that. But again, that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.